set of piston rings. Now these piston rings are standard size. We're not boring this block out or anything. We still cross-hatching in the block, so no need to. We've got our first rings, our top rings, our second rings, which is also actually the second compression ring, and then the oil rings. It's a 3-piece ring. You're going to have the 2 oil rings and the oil spreader that sits in between them. Alright, so we got first ring, second ring, oil ring. What are we going to do? Take our first, our second, and our third rings. We're going to separate these into 4 packages, if you will, where I put 1 first ring, 1 second ring, with each of these, and then 1 set of oil rings, because the oil ring's a 3-piece ring together with it. So first ring is going to go on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second ring will be the next ring up. You notice I'm putting these in the same order that they're going to go onto the piston. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the oil pack, like I said, is a three-piece ring. It's going to be 1 oil wiper, 1 oil spacer, 1 more oil wiper. And we'll do that to all 4 as well. Be careful with all your rings. You don't want to damage them, obviously. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this entire ring pack, flip it over. We're going to take a look here, our number 1 ring. Alright, so now this is our number 1 ring here. We're looking at the cross section on here. And what I'm doing here is I'm looking to see, this is a perfectly squared ring. There's no beveled side to this, so it doesn't matter if this which way this actually sits. No, just a perfectly square ring. So I don't have any good reason for it. I'm going to have the R stick up. No reason. So I'm going to flip that back over, once again, upside down. Second ring. Also no bevel. These are all just perfectly squared. So again, I'm just going to have the R stick straight up. And your oil wiper rings usually don't have any direction to them at all. Alright, so that's 1 pack right there. So we're going to start with number 4. So we're going to take this number 4 ring set, we're going to go over to the block and go ahead and start actually measuring these out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take number 1 ring, and we're just going to squeeze it down in there. I'm going to take a piston. This is the number 4 piston. Instead of me calling these number 1 and number 2 rings, I'm going to call them top and second ring. So we take the top ring, we put in with number 4 piston. I'm just going to push this in here nice and square. I want to get it down at least somewhat in there. It ain't going to be all the way down in there, but I do want to make sure that it's definitely square. And now, I'll bring the camera over so you guys can see what we're talking about here. So what we've done here is we've got a ring that's perfectly square. And I mean, you can't even tell that there's that gap in there. So this ring gap, that's the end gap. That's what we need to measure. Now we're going to take a feeler gauge set and get in there with it. On the specifications for the piston ring is between 8 and 14 thou, so I should be able to slide my 8 in there. Yep. Slides in there nice. Very little friction. I should not be able to put the 14 in there. Oh, not even, there's no way. Now, just for this one, I'm going to see what the exact measurement on it is. You don't normally need to do that. You just make sure you're within spec and you're good. Just again, this isn't going to be like a super turbo rebuild or anything like that. You see how the 9 barely gets in there? I have a feeling we're about right at 9 thou. And you want to be careful you don't, knock it around or anything like that. The 10 doesn't quite go in there, so I'm probably right around 9.5 thou. But that's fine. That's a little on the tight side. That's fine. We're within specification. It makes me very happy. Now what we'll do is we'll pop this out. We'll do the second ring. And then the oil rings, yeah, we'll test the oil rings. A lot of people skip the oil rings, I'll be honest, because all they do is just basically shed the oil back down the cylinder. But just for the sake of completeness, we'll do that. Then we're going to test all 4 of the piston holes the same exact way. And we have to make sure that we keep these piston rings together. This set has to stay together. If we find one that's too tight, we can try it in a different bore, maybe a slightly looser bore, so that that ring gap's no longer too tight. So, I mean, just you play with it. Once you've got all 4 pistons set up with those specific rings, then you'll go ahead and install those rings on the pistons. So we're going to go get to work on that. Alright, so we got our second ring in here now. We've got our bottom compression ring in. Service limit, or spec new, is between 0.16 inch and 0.22 inch. 22 thou versus 16 thou. Guess what? It won't even go in the 16. Which tells me that ring is actually too tight, so we're going to file fit this down. Now there's a couple of ways you can do it. I'll be honest, this is one of those rare times when I actually get to go, hey look, I have the right tool for this. You can file it square with a regular metal file, but you've got to be very, very careful with that to make sure you keep it perfectly square. Or, this, ladies and gentlemen, is a piston ring filer. And literally it's nothing more than a grinding stone with these two pins. Just keep in mind when you're cutting on these, you cannot add more back to it. So you want to be gentle. Make sure that you push these ring ends in nice and square. And you take just a little bit off. I'm going to give this just 5 rotations. Just clean that up a little bit. And then we're going to go measure it again. Not quite there. I'll take a little more off. File this guy in a little more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll go measure it again. Ooh. Almost there. Oh, so close it hurts.
Like 4 turns?
Maybe. Instead of coming in the other way, I'm going to come in like this. That way I can square up the outer edge of it. Well, normally you'd have this mounted. Still hangs in there just slightly. We'll give it 4 more. See, I'm not trying to squeeze it together. What I'm doing is I'm pushing it forward into the pins, which squeeze it in. So I'm not putting much pressure at all on it. 2, 3, 4. Alright, see, we're sliding through with just a little bit of friction. So we're at 16 now. Now again, that's minimum side of tolerance, and that will definitely do us. I know, we actually put it in there upside down. Let's measure it. So you got the R up. I stuck it in there upside down. Let's go ahead and double check that measurement. I actually like my ring gaps a little on the tight side. Better compression, less oil, blow by, that kind of thing. Oh yeah. See, now it actually it will drop through. So that's definitely over 16. Now let's take the 22. Let's make sure we're not too far. 2. And this 22 should not go in there. And it does not. Perfect. Now see, this is why I enjoy file fitting, and that's why I definitely always make sure that you want to keep these in the exact hole that they're going to go in. Because this is now file fit perfectly for the second slot for right here on number 4 piston. We don't want to mix this in with the other ones because there's going to be slight variations in how these have worn. And so this 16 here might be 14 over here, might be 25 over here, we don't know. This is now set up for number 4 only. That's why it's important to keep these together. Next up, we'll just check the oil rings. Honda specification on this is 8/28 thousandths. So
Service limit is up to 3,000.
Up to 3?
Yeah, sure. So
Yeah, like I said, the oil rings don't matter much. Are we over 8? I actually broke how it was square. Can you just straighten it back up?
yeah, I saw the ring moving.
Yeah. I actually think it might be a little under 8. Yeah, so we got 8 to 28. We're gonna go ahead and file these open a little. Don't move on me. Five, 6, 7. I'm gonna give these a full 10 because we've got such a huge range to play with. 8, 9. I want to stay square. 10. All right. We'll go recheck it. I'm happy actually to see that these guys are tight. I'm usually so pissed off because they're always loose. I'm actually kind of happy to see this. Now again, with these thinner rings, this is a little more difficult to do because of the fact that you don't want to move the ring itself. I moved it when I hit it with my finger. So yeah, we're definitely 8 slides in, no problem. 24 does not, so I know we're within spec. All right, we'll do the last ring. I have never in my life file fitted the spreaders, so I'm not going to worry about doing that. Let's go ahead and do that last ring. Let's check it. The only shop you're going to find that's going to take the time to do this right, do it like this, is going to be a shop that charges you $2,000 or $3,000 for it. Where's the ring gap at? And yeah, that's definitely tight. Can't even find the ring gap. Nah, I'll stop at 10. There's no point. I can always take more off. I can't add more back. The real pain with this is actually keeping the ring end square while cutting it. Alright. Alright.
I didn't have the power.
8 thou. Really?
So it's still a little tight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's still tight. Yeah. Alright, I'll do another 10 on it. Probably wasn't able to get nearly as nice of a cut on there with a bouncer. Yeah, I gave it 12. Because this thing was nowhere near.
What worries me is these are supposed to be drop-in rings. They're not supposed to be file fit rings.
You always check ring fit.
No, I know that. I'm just saying that for the average dummy that's going to just pop them in.
I like to think I'm showing them why they shouldn't just pop them in.
Oh yeah, I mean, not everybody's watching the videos. I'm saying that
Everybody watches my videos. Everybody.
I guess I will. I'll do you that solid, buddy.
Oh, I don't want to put you out now. Ah, damn it. I blipped it. Sorry, straighten it back up. I blipped it.
Yeah, pull it back up some, because
That's fine, yeah. It's important to keep the ring square.
I'll just the oil ring. Sorry, oil, whatever.
Usually, what I'll do if this isn't something I intend to get done in one day, I'll actually put these into Ziploc baggies.
We did that with the 350.
Yeah, that's the way to do
We got
it.
a video of that. That video's on my old YouTube channel. It's still floating out there on the internet from way back in like 2006. No, it was later than that. Are you failing at life? Shh. We're gonna edit this out. Shh.
No, I think we're good now. Go ahead and straighten it back out for me one more time, just to make sure. I'll be honest, when I rebuilt that 2.8, I didn't bother checking the oil rings. I did on the Supra. Okay, we're definitely over 8. Where's that 22? Oh, 24. 24 I think is behind you.
Oh my god, I can't pick it up.
Okay, we're definitely not over 24. All right. Yeah. See, I'm pushing it out of the way. Bam. We're gonna put these rings on that piston.
Wait, after we showed how to do all of one, there's no really reason to do all of it.
No, I'm not gonna do the others. I want to show them how to do the install.
Okay.
So first, don't screw up. You want to make sure that you put your oil spreader ring in first. That's always the first step. Everybody knows that. I did not just totally do that. Then we'll put our lower oil ring in and just feed it down one bit at a time. They're very, very flexible, so they're kind of hard to break, but don't try to. I don't recommend breaking them. Make sure everything fits in there nice.
You can bring it up to the camera and show them it? Sure.
See, I've got it in there so far. Get the second one in, second oil ring in. Now, these are sandwiched. I don't know if you'll be able to see this real well. I don't have a very good light in here. But it's an oil ring, spreader, oil ring. Put the spreader in first because if you look, there's actually a little lip. Grab one of these other ones, I'll show you. If you look carefully, there's actually a little lip here. And this holds the spreader ring on top and on the bottom of it. Keeps it from getting up behind it. Once we've got that on, we'll take our second ring right here. I'm going to put the R up. No good reason. Just check one more time, make sure. You want to check where if you file fitted, make sure there's no burrs or anything on the end. Everything looks good, nothing I can catch. Alright. Piston ring install tool. I recommend using this because it makes it so much freaking easier. Spread them. Get it in the groove. Bam, there's one. Top ring. This one doesn't even have a marking on it. It really bugs me. I don't know why, but it does. Oh, I'm sorry. I do see an R. Yay. It's just hard to see. Get off there. Put it on top. Boom. There's one piston ready to rock and roll. I'm not going to show you guys all these pistons. I'm just going to hang this back up there just so we know exactly what order it's in.
Show them the offset gaps.
I'll show them that when we go to install it.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to go ahead and get to work on the other 3, and I'm going to let my camera charge. All right, I'm going to give you all a little close-up here of the piston. Now what we want to do is we don't want to have any of these ring gaps situated right along each other. So got one ring gap here. Let's go ahead and take the ring gap for the second ring and bring it around right here. So see, I've got one gap here. Second gap's up here. The oil gaps are not nearly as important as long as they're not lined up with each other. But just for the sake of consistency, just wait a second. I got one oil ring gap up here, and I'm going to put the other oil ring gap. Where you at? There you are. I'll move this other ring gap around. This might be easier if I start from the bottom. Alright. Same deal. Make sure that we got all these. There we go. You just want to make sure that they're all apart. Now you notice we got an arrow right here on the piston. Hopefully you guys can see that. That points toward the front. Piston. We're going to put the rod bearing in. Now we're not going to put anything in here yet because of the fact that we have to check the rod clearances. So we'll get our bearing in place. Take it by the hand and make it understand humidity. I hate Florida. Alright, now when we go to knock this down in there, go ahead and just.
Hung up on the oil ring.
I
hate when that happens. You might need to see
if it gets hung up.
If it gets hung up, you don't want to hammer it in like that. You'll break your oil ring.
Yeah, don't keep hammering it.
It should slide in with just the slightest amount of tapping.
And make sure you got it good and tight.
And square. The biggest problem we had on there before is the sleeve would twist. It would bunch up and it wouldn't be sitting on the piston quite square. Like it's not right now. Look at this gap over here. Yeah, do
Bam.
that.
We'll just tap it down, make sure that
when you do that, I normally find it loosens up a tooth, so make sure it's nice and tight on those teeth.
It looks like it's tight.
I'm just saying, take the tool in. We went through all this, like, well, we had 8 cylinders to do on the 350. We must have tried to get the pistons in like 30 plus times. It was a pain in the ass.
Y'all really did that wrong.
When we were cussing this very thing right here.
Make sure that's on there nice and tight. Push down on it. Push it in.
And I kept it out.
God. Then gently roll her back over. I would recommend we go ahead and bring the piston up to it.
Alright, well then I'll push the piston up while you hold the...
Alright.
Got it?
Yep. One more. Alright, we're going to stop there. Now what we'll do is we'll rotate it the rest of the way down into it. Because see, the whole thing is I need to be
Toss it off to the side.
I need to be able to get to it.
Exactly.
Just, that's fine. Ba-ding.
Want me to put the plastic gauge in there? I mean, I can let you torque it down first.
No.
Here. There's that one.
Alright, there's that one. That's one I was talking about.
The green, right?
What are the rod bearing clearances on this? That's what dictates which one we use. Alright, so you can see we got the plastic gauge there. So what we're going to do is go ahead and take our rod cap, we'll get it in. Slide our rod cap into place. Alright. Now we want to take these nuts and tighten them down. Torque value on these is going to be 33 foot-pounds. Now, I'm going to rotate this back. What I'm going to do is actually push up on the piston while rotating it slightly. There we go. So this way I can get to both the nuts very easily. And the reason for pushing that up is because I don't want to just rotate it and start crushing that plastic gauge in there. Now, much like everything else in life, we're going to do this in 3 steps. So I'm setting this to 11 foot-pounds. I'll torque it down, and then I'll do it 22. And I'm just going to jump back and forth here until I get this all the way down. That's 11. Now we'll go to 22. And I'll finish this off at 33. Alright, go ahead and loosen her back up. Can you keep it from rotating, please? Alright, we'll break these loose. Hands. Poor camera's trying to Zoom up in on our hands. Now the fun part, we gotta break this bad loose. See if we can't get her loose. Wedge them apart. All right. We've got, see, some of our plastic gauge stayed. Some of our plastic gauge stayed right there. Grab it, give me the, come on, focus camera. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that's a millimeter. Here's America. Looks like we were definitely right between 001 and 015, so we're good. We got great clearance right there. Spec is 001 inch to 0017 inch. We are very clearly in between the 001 and the 0015. I'd say closer to 001, so I'm very happy with that. So now we're going to clean the plastic gauge off. Just using a fingernail, don't use any metal on that. I'm going to take a rag and wipe it off.
This is Rolls Cooktails he's got. Well, I can use this one. That WD-40 on it.
That's fine. That's not for her. I already wiped this off of my shirt. Now what we've got to do is we're going to get the crank out the way. Lift the crank up. Push the piston down just a little. This is just so I can get back here to this bearing and I can wipe some good old Lucas up in there. Take a globs of that. Rub it all up in there. All up in there. Finger it good. Ooh, up on the camera. Sorry, I didn't mean to make y'all lose your great seat. Oh, hey.
How do you have any viewers?
It's because I'm so cool.
How cool?
How cool, that cool.
Swish.
That's right, 15 takes later. Alright, so now what we'll do is we're going to rotate the crank back into position.
Push the piston up a little bit.
Go ahead. Alright. We'll go ahead and, no, that's good. Let me get this in there and get the bolt started. Nuts started. Which nuts? Come on, Keith, you gotta work with me here. Which nuts?
These nuts.
Alright. You feeling better?
Not really.
Feel dirty.
Feels dirty and slow.
Hey, if you can't enjoy what you're doing, why bother doing it? Doward's word to the wise.
I don't know that I can thoroughly agree with that, considering what I do for a living.
Yeah. This is true. Alright, nothing of interest here to see then. We're just going to torque these right back down. 11, 22, 33. Now we'll go 33 foot-pounds. And that will finish this one piston. Once we've got this torque down, we're going to go ahead and move on to the other three pistons. I'm not going to bother recording that. It's going to be the exact same procedure on all three. Don't skip any of them. Make sure you plastic gauge all four of them, because one of these rods could be way wide and you need to recondition it. This is the time to find out. Don't put this whole thing together, slap happy, hoping you were right, just to find out you got to take it back apart down the line. That will piss you off, I promise you. Alright, so you can see we're getting ready to go into number 3 here. I just want to show you guys something real quick when you guys are putting these together. Your rods, you notice, are stamped with a number. You should be able to focus camera. There you go. You should be able to just make out that stamping. But what you'll notice is that your two notches should be on the same side. So make sure you've got that. As long as you've got your notches on the same side, at least on this engine they were all the same, you'll be able to put these together with no problem. So we're going to go ahead and get number 3 in. and we'll get back to you when we're all done. All right, so we've got the rod caps all in. All of our specs came out great. We put the 4 bolts here for the windage tray in. We can't bolt on the front of the oil pump assembly. You got the oil pump assembly right on here. Until we bolt the actual oil pump on. So we're going to do that next and get that in here.